What's going on, rail fans? Now, it's not very usual of me to go outside of Buffalo for rail fanning at all. I usually like to stay close to the Buffalo area to do my pictures and stuff for Instagram. But my good friend Mark called me up a couple weeks ago and asked me if I wanted to go do Conway and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to go rail fan the Norfolk Southern Pittsburgh division, which has a high frequency of rail traffic on it. And I'd actually never been to either of those places before, so I decided to seize up the opportunity and make a video for you guys since I've not actually made a rail fanning video for you yet. So the day started off over here in Rook Yard. This is a yard used by the Wheeling Lake Erie Railroad. They're based primarily out of the Pennsylvania and Ohio region. There wasn't a whole lot of activity going on when we first got there. There was a lot of engines parked on what appeared to be an engine track, which included a ex-Burlington Northern SD40. We did hear some locomotives running on the other side of the yard, so we ran over there real quick. There was a 4-unit lash appearing to do something. We're not entirely sure what they were doing, so we made our way over to the other side. This is the side facing towards Pittsburgh, waiting for these engines to do something, but eventually the engineer got off and got picked up by a crew van, so we decided to just cut our losses and make our way towards Pittsburgh to see what we could see in the Pittsburgh division of Norfolk Southern. Before we made our way to the tracks, we actually stopped at this place called Mountain Washington. A very cool overview of the skyline of Pittsburgh, and actually right below us was the CSX, I believe to be the Pittsburgh subdivision. There was a manifest running through there. It did have a DPU, however I did not get it on video. And if anybody is ever in the Pittsburgh area, I highly recommend you go to this place. It is an incredibly awesome view of the skyline and great for photo ops. Eventually we ended up at this place called simply The Trench. It is in Allegheny Commons, West Park. This is the Fort Wayne line that runs out of Pittsburgh and goes towards Indiana, as the name would suggest. Here we have an unidentified single stack / piggyback train going out of Pittsburgh. I'm not entirely sure what these symbols are for anything on the Pittsburgh division, so I wasn't entirely sure what to look for or what symbols were which, but the important thing to note here is that actually the bridges in the park do not allow for double stack container trains to go through it due to the height. So the only thing that can get through these bridges are excess height boxcars, single stack wells, and piggybacks. I believe there have been talks, though, to possibly either lower the tracks or raise the bridges to allow for double stack traffic to go through the park. Now this is something that I would not normally see in New York at all, for very good reason. This is the Allegheny Valley Railroad, a railroad that operates in the region. I'm not exactly sure how big of a region that is, but primarily in Pittsburgh, from what I've been told. If you guys are probably seeing the SWP on the back two SD40-2s, that stands for Southwestern Pennsylvania. I'm not sure if that's a subsidiary of AVR or not, but overall, it was pretty cool to see this. This is not something that we would normally see up in Buffalo at all. This train actually had a little bit of everything on it, but however, it was primarily steel coil cars and tanks. Where they were going, I am not entirely sure, but I do know that Pittsburgh has been a very big steel city in the past due to its steel mills. How big of an industry that still is, I am not entirely sure, but overall, still really cool to see this train. Overall, the Steel City was lacking in traffic. However, what it lacked for in traffic, it made up for in the power that it had on its trains. As you can see by this NS manifest that is going through the trench right now, that consisted of a SD70 ACE on point, a SD60E second, a SD70 ACU rebuild third, and a GP38 high hood, which I believe are becoming more and more rare as NS has been doing its rebuilds. Like the AVR train before, this manifest had a whole lot of different things on it, including setter beams, tanks, hoppers, boxcars, and a couple of gondolas that brought up the rear of the train. However, I think the coolest part of this train was indeed that GP38 high hood, because I know this is becoming more and more rare on the NS system due to NS doing all the rebuilds with their engines, making them better, more efficient, stuff like that. But, you know, we can't always have everything when it comes to getting videos for trains, so you sometimes just have to work with what you got. After this, we decided to go try and hunt down the AVR train that we saw earlier, so we ended up at this possible transfer yard between AVR and NS. We're not entirely sure, but as you can see over through the hole in the fence that was conveniently there, you can see the power that we saw on the train that came in. It was certainly waiting to get a track authority or something like that from NS, and we knew it was running under the train symbol AVR1, so we were actually able to go back to the trench and beat it there to the spot that we were just at to get a very nice shot of it going through the trench back out of the yard. We were about to pack up our stuff and go to Conway, and as soon as we moved from the spot, this unit coal train came out of nowhere and caught us off guard, so I wasn't able to get back to the original spot I was at, but I was able to get a quick video of it from the side of the bridge. As you can tell, the power consisted of 3 General Electric built locomotives. I'm not entirely sure of the builds exactly, but there was 3 of them leading this unit coal train out of Pittsburgh. After seeing this coal train, it was finally time to make our way up north the 30 to 35 minutes to Conway Yard in Conway, Pennsylvania. Conway Yard being one of, if not the biggest yards on the NS system, sees many trains a day as it is both a starting and stopping point for trains that are coming in and out of western Pennsylvania. Not only that, but it is also one of the oldest yards on the NS system, as it has seen the days of the Pennsylvania Railroad, the Penn Central, Conrail, and now currently its new owner, Norfolk Southern. As well as for the size of the yard, it is almost 100 tracks across, with 2 hump yards and 2 yard jobs working at each end. We were located over here on the east end, waiting for stuff to come in and out. However, there being a brush fire earlier on in the day, there was a little bit of a backlog, so we were kind of sitting around waiting for trains to show up. The first thing that we saw was this. Now, originally I thought it was a yard job. However, it turned out to be NS Train 170, a Chattanooga to Conway daily run that seemed to be backing into the yard. We're not entirely sure why it was doing this. It might have just been backing in so we could cut the power and yard jobs could take care of the train or something like that. As well as there were these super odd cars on the train. I'm not entirely sure what these were for. They almost look like they were used to dump something underneath on the track. I am not entirely sure, but if somebody knows the answer to this, feel free to write it in the comments down below, because I am at a loss for what these are.
You don't have a 28 short term. Negative. Just cancel up, move all together.
Next train to go east was NS 24M, a Chicago to Baltimore run to go with containers and piggybacks. unidentified westbound intermodal bypassing Conway, and notice the flared ST70 series locomotive second out. What you see pulling up to the signal bridge on the middle track is what I was told is C35, a local that operates in the area. He was going for a crew change at the East Conway crew change point.
It's like shooting off bridges with a floating top. Yeah. Floating top. I love it. I wish they had said 35 to 200. That'd be nice.
Coming up alongside C35 on the left is NS Intermodal 25Z, which according to my notes is from E-Rail New Jersey to Chicago. Although that could be wrong about that, feel free to comment down below if I am. And that would wrap up my railfanning trip in Western Pennsylvania. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. If you guys have any ideas as to how I could improve my videos, please let me know. I'm open to ideas. Once I get back to Buffalo and I can do some railfanning videos in Buffalo, I will give you guys much better information, because I know since I'm in a very unknown location in Pennsylvania, I don't really know train symbols or mileposts or anything like that. But in Buffalo, I have all that information. I can gladly give it to you guys in the videos, and it might give you guys a little bit of a better experience. But until then, I'm Adam, and I'll talk to you guys later. Keep on railfanning.